So, arguably, PlayStation's biggest game of 2024 is indeed a 3D platformer with Astro. Now, I'm a huge fan of 3D platformers. Ever since Super Mario 64, I've definitely been captivated by them. And it's definitely a game genre that goes through ebbs and flows. It seems like sometimes there's really good ones, and then sometimes there's ones that just kind of litter the marketplace. But Astro looked really high quality. It looked like something that was going to potentially be one of the best 3D platformers of all time. Now, reviews have come in, but I mean, those reviews don't matter. You're here to hear what I have to say about this game. I'm a little bit over 60% of the way through the game, so this isn't a quote-unquote full review, but is Astro one of the games of the year? Yeah, it definitely is. So we're going to talk about it in today's video, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this game. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So the story of Astro, I mean, who really cares? Like, you're flying around on a PlayStation 5. This is like your spaceship. You are Astro. There's lots of bots on the ship with you. Some evil green monster dude like takes down the ship. You crash land on a planet. All of your bots are scattered throughout all these different little realms outside of the planet that are, of course, the levels. And of course, now your PlayStation 5 has been destroyed, so you have to rebuild it in order to battle the big baddie. It's fine. It's a 3D platformer. I don't care about a story in it. You know, it's typical. Villain, you got to stop the villain. But I do feel like the story, for as little as it is with this game, does kind of help set how the gameplay plays out with it as far as what you're doing within the levels themselves. Because once you start up this game, holy crap, this is some top-notch 3D platforming goodness. I might even say this is a reason to buy a PlayStation 5. Like, it is that damn good. So when you get into a level, basically you have two different things that you're trying to accomplish besides, of course, completing the level. One of those things is you're trying to find the bots that are hidden within the level. Now, these bots are basically hidden in little areas, and you access them by punching them. Sometimes there's a little bit of a puzzle mechanic within it in order to figure out essentially where they are. Some are in plain sight, some are well hidden, and I like it. It keeps you coming back for more, because there's no way in hell like you're gonna go through a level for the first time and find like every bot. Sure, some of the first few levels you will, but as you get later on in the game, you kind of almost forget that like bots are a thing because you're focused on the platforming. So it really gives you an incentive to go back and get these bots. Now, of course, the other thing that you're looking for are puzzle pieces. Puzzle pieces are used on your home planet, and they allow you to build different things, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then, of course, you have the platforming and getting to the end of the level. The platforming is extremely precise. It feels so good, and I'm not the biggest fan of the PlayStation 5 controller, but they use it in such a good way with this game, I feel. Yes, there is some motion controls that are tacked on, and I say tacked on, I'm just not a huge fan of them, but if you go into the accessibilities options, you can actually turn them off, and for me, that made a hell of a lot more of an enjoyable experience. I'm not going to dock the game because of that, because they do give you the option to turn it off. Basically, Astro will find different abilities within levels that are specific to that level. So sometimes, like, you get monkey arms and you can use them to climb up certain things, and that's kind of where you use some motion controls. Sometimes you get some boxing gloves. Some levels you even turn into like a small creature or a really big creature, and it's so seamless. Like, everything just flows amazing as you're going throughout these levels, trying to figure out where you need to go next and how you are going to get there. The game just constantly throws new mechanics at you, but they're not like super deep mechanics where you need to like worry about, oh, you know, am I going to be able to do this? You know, is this going to kind of mess up my flow? Because they all kind of operate with the same similar control scheme as you get them. And like I said, they are level specific, but you will see them reused throughout certain levels within the game. I really enjoy the gameplay of this game, trying to find all of the puzzle pieces, trying to find the different bots within the levels, and trying to find hidden areas to get more coins and stuff like that, because I know you're wondering what the hell those coins do. It's a great great experience. And the fact that like the levels themselves feel very alive. There's a lot of interactions happening within the levels and changes that end up happening, and enemies and, you know, little things like acorns. Just all of a sudden you knock into a tree and a bunch of acorns fall down, and now you can like throw these little acorns around. It is an absolute masterpiece of gameplay. I do feel like, if I did have to knock it for one little thing, I do wish that you could adjust the speed of the camera with the right analog stick. I did notice sometimes it felt a little slow for my liking, but that's just kind of a personal preference. But beyond that, like, it's flawless gameplay. And the fact that so many things are introduced as you go deeper into levels, as you find hidden levels, because you have the main levels, that doesn't mean that that's all that's in the game. There's also hidden levels that you will access, and these can be a little bit more challenging. They're usually a bit shorter, but there's usually a challenge associated with it, because the main game itself, like, you'll die, but it's not that bad because checkpoints are aplenty, so it doesn't really diminish your experience or how far you've gotten in it. It's kind of similar to how modern Mario games are in terms of handling, you know, deaths within a game. Like, you don't really lose all that much progress, but the smaller levels, the more challenging levels, those were actually a lot of fun, and they kind of push you a little bit, more so than the main game it does. Of course, there's big boss battles. One of the first ones you encounter is a donkey, or not a Donkey Kong, a giant King Kong style thing, which of course is right up my alley. I love King Kong monkey levels in a game. But as you go throughout the game, you get different types of bosses in the game as well. And really, the gameplay is just absolutely top notch. The presentation doesn't let up either. I think this is one of the best looking PlayStation 5 games that I have played, like, ever. Like, I think the color usage, the vibrant environments, the soundtrack, the abilities changing Astro to make him big, make him small, the little details that you find within the levels are just so much fun. It's a visual treat, and every single level has its own sort of unique style, from your standard stuff like your jungle levels to monkey levels to samurai levels to just all sorts of stuff. Like, I want to keep some of them secret, because there's also like PlayStation inspired levels based on PlayStation games. And one of these was absolutely, it was the coolest thing. One of the biggest IPs that PlayStation has and still utilizes, kind of changed up and still using gameplay mechanics from that original game, but making them within the Astrobot style and this Astrobot level. It was an absolute treat. I think you'll know which one I'm talking about when you get to it. It happens relatively early in the game, but really this is like a love letter to PlayStation and PlayStation owners. And of course, you still have your home base. Your home base kind of acts like the sort of area where you do more things. So every little bot that you save goes back to your home base, and you have to have a certain number of bots to do certain tasks within it. Then once you get a certain number of puzzle pieces, you unlock more things to do on the home base, such as a gotcha machine, which allows you to give the bots themselves some interesting things. Like, you just start to walk around your home base, and like, you'll see like Solid Snake hiding under a box, Psycho Mantis hiding in front or over a CRT with a PlayStation 1, Katamari Damacy, there's a rolling ball Joker. And like, the gotcha things, actually, once you save the bot itself, it gives the character a little bit more things. So when you're at the gotcha machine, which costs 100 coins in order to use, then if you get an item specific to that character, it then gives them a little bit more of a little ability that they can do within this home base. And it's just so much fun. Even the home base has hidden things to it. Like, there's constantly things happening as you're rebuilding the PlayStation 5. You have to use all of the bots that you've gotten in order to do certain things, to rescue more bots that are hidden on the island or get additional puzzle pieces. Like, it's just such a joy. It's such a joy. It uses the controller in a great way. You know, I don't think the motion controls are bad. Let me get that out of the way. They're just not really for me. But even like the little speaker thing, and, you know, using the speaker to hear different things and allowing it to, you know, sort of add a little bit of depth to the sound of the game, it really just makes this game stand out. I will say one thing though, sometimes you have to blow into the microphone for certain things, and that's kind of annoying because I didn't see an accessibility option to to take that off. Like, I get it. They're trying to bring you into this world of Astro Bot, but like, I could have done without the blowing mechanic. But like, is this a game of the year contender? Like, hell yeah. Like, I honestly, I'll put this right up there with Odyssey and Super Mario 64 as far as, like, you know, GOAT 3D platformers for me. I think this is one of the best 3D platformers I've ever played, and I'm very interested to see how I feel about it like a month or two from now. You know, just to see kind of if it resonates with me. You know, is this just a product of its times, or will this have sort of a lasting appeal? But this arguably is one of the best, if not the best, games I have played in 2024. And the fact that it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, I mean, PlayStation definitely needed something like this after the whole Concord debacle that we saw play out live in front of us. But Astro Bot, you know, it's not overhyped. It's not being overscored. I've seen people saying that, like, oh, the Metacritic's too high. It's just a 3D platformer. This is such an important game for video games because for a myriad of reasons. You know, the budget of this game, the development time of this game is nowhere near as long as these stupid games as a service games. This is a single player experience that is top notch in its genre. Not everything needs to be trying to reinvent the wheel or chasing a trend. If you make a great video game, you will reap the rewards of it more times than not in terms of critical success. And I hope that this game is a sales success so that it sends a message to Sony like, hey, we like, you know, the darker narratives and stuff like that, the darker single-player games, but we also like a celebration of PlayStation. We also like, you know, just having fun within a video game, and not everything needs to be a quadruple A game. So this game, I feel like, is a disruption to the video game industry, and right now, as it stands, this is my game of the year for 2024. Looking on the horizon, I guess, I don't know, maybe Echoes of Wisdom can do a little damage to it, but this is one of the best, if not the best, 3D platformers I have ever played. An absolute joy. If you are a PlayStation 5 owner, there is literally no reason for you not to buy this game. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Every PlayStation 5 owner should buy Astro Bot. It is that damn good. Those are just my opinions on the game. I'd like to hear if you guys have been playing it, and if so, what you think about it. Is this a Game of the Year contender? Is this just another run-of-the-mill 3D platformer for you? And if you think that, what 3D platformers are better? Like, give me one. Tell me one that does things better than Astro Bot, because I really don't think there are many, if any. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. The King of PlayStation, always giving you the latest and greatest PlayStation information, talking about the latest PlayStation games. Hey, look, pal, I played things I want to play. I wanted to play Astro Bot, and I am damn glad I did. Make sure you hit subscribe if you are new, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.